October-November 2024, paper 2-2, question 1a. These are the contents of a bag of mixed fruit, pineapple, mango, papaya, and their masses are given. Calculate the mass of mango as a percentage of the total mass of the mixed fruit. So the formula will be mass of mango divided by total mass of the mixed fruit multiplied by 100, because we have to express it as a percentage. So mass of the mango is already given to us, that is 84, and the total mass of the mixed fruit can be calculated by adding all of these three values together. So total mass will be equal to 96 plus 84 plus 60, and this is equal to 240 grams. Now mass of the mango is 84, so 84 divided by 240 multiplied by 100, and this is going to be equal to 35%. In part B, Tom makes a drink by mixing juice and water in the ratio 3:7. So 3 is the ratio for juice and 7 is the ratio for water. Now the total ratio can be found by adding 3 and 7. So that is going to be equal to 10. 10 is the total ratio. He makes 1.4 liters of this drink. That means the total amount of drink is 1.4 liters. Calculate the amount of juice Tom uses. Give your answer in milliliters. So first of all, I'm going to solve this by ratios. Total amount that he's making is 1.4 liters and the total ratio is 10. Then the amount of juice that Tom uses, we have to calculate this. So I'm going to be putting it as X, and the ratio of juice that he uses is 3. Then I'm going to cross multiply. So X will be equal to 1.4 multiplied by 3 divided by 10, and this is equal to 0.42 liters. So Tom uses 0.42 liters of juice to make the drink. Now the final answer has to be given in milliliters, so I'm going to convert 0.42 liters into milliliters. So I'm going to do this by ratios. 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliters. So 0.42 liters will be equal to X milliliters. If we cross multiply, X will be equal to 1000 multiplied by 0.42, and this will be equal to 420 milliliters. So that is going to be my final answer. In part C, the cost of a fruit drink is directly proportional to the amount of juice it contains. A fruit drink contains 125 milliliter of juice. It costs $1.50. Calculate the cost of a fruit drink containing 175 milliliter of juice. So the cost of 125 milliliters is given to us. I'm going to find the cost of 1 milliliter. I'm going to do this by ratios. If 125 ml, it costs 1.50, so 1 ml will be X. X will be 1.50 divided by 125, and this is equal to $0.012. So this is the cost of 1 milliliter. Now the question is asking us to find the cost of 175 milliliter of juice. So I'm going to do this by ratios as well. If 1 milliliter, it costs 0.012, 175 is going to cost X. X is equal to 175 multiplied by 0.012, and this is going to be equal to $2.1. So that is going to be my final answer. Part D, coffee has a bag containing nuts and raisins. There are 285 grams of raisins in the bag. The remaining 62% of the mass in the bags is nuts. Calculate the mass of nuts in the bag. So first, I'm going to calculate the percentage of raisins. That is equal to 100 minus mass of nuts is 62%. So 100 minus 62 will give me raisins, that is 38%. Then I'm going to calculate the total mass of the bag. To calculate the total mass of the bag, I'm going to use the percentage of raisins. Percentage of raisins is given, mass of raisins are given, so I'm going to use this to calculate the total. If 100% is the total percentage of the bag and the total mass of the bag will be X, mass of raisins is 285 and percentage of raisins is 38%. So X is going to be equal to 285 multiplied by 100 divided by 38, and this is going to give me 750 grams, and this is the total mass of the bag. This is the total mass of the bag. Now I have to calculate the mass of nuts in the bag. So total mass of the bag is basically made up of mass of raisins plus mass of nuts. So if I have to find the mass of nuts, I'm going to do total mass minus the mass of raisins. The total mass of raisins is already given to us in the question, and the total mass that we found out was 750. So I'm going to subtract 750 and 285, and this will be equal to 465 grams, and that is going to be my final answer. Part E, the mass of mixed nuts and seeds in a bag is 500 gram. Correct to the nearest 10 gram. So 10 divided by 2, this will give us 5. This number 5 will be added and subtracted to get the upper bound and the lower bound. The mass of nuts in the bag is 350 gram. Correct to the nearest 5 gram. So 5 divided by 2 will be added and subtracted. Calculate the upper bound and lower bound of the mass of seeds. Mass of seeds will be calculated by subtracting the total mass from the mass of nuts. Now we have to find the upper bound and lower bound both. So first I'm going to find the upper bound and lower bound of the total mass. Upper bound can be found by adding 5. So I'm going to do 500 plus 5, which is going to give me 505 grams. And the lower bound will be found by subtracting 5. So this is going to be 495 grams. Then the mass of nuts in the bag, we have to find the upper bound and lower bound. So the upper bound is going to be 350. 350 minus 2.5, and the lower bound is going to be 350. The upper bound is going to be 350 plus 2.5, and the lower bound is going to be 350 minus 2.5. So that is 352.5, and the lower bound is 347.5. Now I have to find the upper bound and lower bound of the mass of seeds in the bag, and the formula is total minus nuts. Now in order to find the upper bound of the mass of seeds, I'm going to be subtracting the upper bound of total minus the lower bound of nuts. Basically, to find the upper bound basically means the highest value. So highest value of the difference can be found by subtracting the largest value of the total and the smallest value of the nuts. That will give us the largest difference. So this is going to be upper bound of total is 505 and the lower bound of nuts is 347.5, and this is equal to 157.5, and this is going to be my upper bound. To find the lower bound will be found by subtracting the lower bound of the total value and the upper bound of the value of nuts. Why? Because lower bound is basically the smallest value. So to find the smallest difference, we're going to subtract a small value by a large value. So lower bound of total is 495 and upper bound of nuts is 352.5, and this is going to give me 142.5. So this is going to be my lower bound. Question 2a. The table shows the age and value of 10 cars of the same model. Complete the scatter diagram. The first 6 points have been plotted for you. So if I analyze the graph, one small box on the y-axis, this is 200, and one small box on the x-axis, this is 0.2. I found this by dividing 1000 by the number of small blocks, and the small blocks were 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1000 divided by 5 is basically 200. Now I'm gonna plot the remaining points. 5 and 4500. 5 and 4500 is gonna be 42, 44, and 45. Then 6 and 3000. 6 and 3000. 8 and 1500. And the last point is 8 and 2000. Part 2 is telling us to draw a line of best fit. Line of best fit basically means a line that is passing through majority points with equal number of points above and below the line. So the line of best fit will be, so the line of best fit is going to be something like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4 points are above it, and 1, 2, 3, 3 points are below it, and 3 points are directly on the line. 1, 2, and 3. So this is the line of best fit. In part 3, use your line of best fit to find an estimate for the value of a car of this model that is 7 years old. So I'm going to see 7 on the x-axis. This is 7. If I trace this up till the line of best fit, and then I extend this line on the y-axis, this is basically $2,200. $2,200. So the value of a car of this model that is 7 years old is 2,200. In the last part, that is part 4, Jay has a car of this model that is 12 years old and he wants to find its value. Explain why Jay should not use the scatter diagram to find an estimate for the value of this car. So basically, if we look at the graph is basically passing on the x-axis through a point that is near to 10, and 12 is not included in the diagram. So I'm just gonna write that 12 years is outside of the range of given data, because I cannot estimate the value from the graph, and even the table, it ends at a value, it ends at 8. So 12 is not given in the table as well. In part B, J records the distance traveled by 50 cars. This is the total. The frequency table shows the results. So basically in the table, distance is d 1000 kilometers. That means this 10, it means 10,000 kilometers, 40 means 40,000 kilometers, and so on. In part 1, work out the fraction of cars that have traveled more than 50,000 kilometers. So the formula will basically be frequency of cars that travel greater than 50,000 kilometers divided by total number of cars. Now total number of cars were already given in the question, that is 50, and frequency of cars that are greater than 50,000 are 11 and 17. So I'm going to write 11 plus 17 divided by 50. And when I'm going to simplify this, this is going to be 28 divided by 50. And when I simplify 28 and 50, I'm getting 14 divided by 25. That is going to be my final answer. Part 2, find the interval that contains the median. Median is basically the mid value, that means half of the total. and the question already told us that the total number of cars were 50. So the median is going to be 50 divided by 2, and that is the 25th value. Now I have to find the interval in which the 25th value is lying. The first interval, that is 10 to 40, this has 8 number of cars, and the second interval 40 to 50, this is having 14 cars. So 8 plus 14, this is equal to 22. And then if I'm going to add the third interval, that is 11, if I add 11 to 22, I'm getting 33. So the 25th value is going to lie within the third interval, that is from 50 to 60. So my final answer will be 50 and 60. Now part 3, calculate an estimate of the mean distance traveled. So mean, the formula for mean is basically sigma fx over the total, and the total was already given to us in the question, that was 50. Fx, basically frequency is f, and x is the midpoint of the intervals. So I'm going to find all the midpoints. The midpoint of 10 and 40 is 25, midpoint of 40 and 50 is 45, then 55, and last is 80. I found x by basically adding the extreme values and dividing it by 2. So the extreme values are basically 10 and 40 in this case. In this case it's 40 and 50, and so on. So now I'm going to find fx. Fx can basically be found by multiplying frequency and the midpoints. So 8 into 25, 8 into 25 is 200, 14 into 45 is 630, 11 into 55 is 605, 17 into 80 is 1360. Now when I'm going to put all the values in the formula, sigma basically means adding. This stands for sum. So 200 plus 630 plus 605 plus 1360, and the total was 50. When I put this entire thing in the calculator, I'm getting 55.9, and this is going to be my final answer. Question 3a, the diagram shows a tank. The tank is a cuboid with a length 1.2 meter, width 0.6, and height h. The volume of the tank is 1.8. So this whole tank, it is a cuboid, and the length and width are given, and the volume is also given. We have to find the height. So in part 1, calculate the value of h. Now the formula for volume of a cuboid is length times width times height. Now the volume is already given to us in the question, that is 1.8 meter cubed, and the length is also given, that is 1.2, and the width is given, that is 0.6. So 1.2 into 0.6, and we have to find the height. So height is basically equal to 1.8 divided by 1.2 into 0.6, and this is going to be equal to 2.5 meters. So this is going to be my final answer. Part 2. Fuel is pumped into the empty tank at a rate of 0.2 meter cube per minute. So the rate is 0.2 meter cube per minute. This basically means that in 1 minute it fills 0.2 meter cubed. So if I need to find the time taken to fill 1 meter cubed, so x and 1 meter cubed. So x is basically going to be 1 divided by 0.2, and this is equal to 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes it fills 1 meter cubed volume. Now calculate, in this question you have to basically calculate the time taken to fill the tank to 90% of its volume. So 90% of the volume, it basically means 90 over 100 multiplied by volume, which was given 1.8. So 90% of 1.8 is basically 1.62 meter cubed. So finally I'm gonna just multiply. If 1 meter cubed is being filled in 5 minutes, so 1.62 meter cubed is going to be filled in x minutes, and x is going to be 1.62 multiplied by 5, which is equal to 8.1. 8.1 can also be written as 8.0 and 0.1. Both of these are in minutes. So in order to convert 0.1 into seconds, I'm going to multiply 0.1 by 60 and I'm going to get 6 seconds. So the total time taken is 8 minutes and 6 seconds. In part B, the diagram shows a tank with an open top. The tank is a prism with trapezium ABCD as its cross section. So ABCD meaning this whole thing, this is a trapezium. AD is equal to BC, that is 70. So AD is equal to BC, that is 70. So this BC is also 70. And CD is 80, AB is 110. So CD is it. The base of the tank is a square. Now this base, this is a square, which means that this DH, this is also going to be 80. This HG, it is also going to be 80, and CG is going to be 80. Now the question is asking us to calculate the total surface area of the outside of the tank. So first I'm going to find the area of the base. The base is basically a square. So area of square HDCGH. So I'm going to label it as CDHG, and this is going to be L square. So 80 into 80, and this is equal to 6400 centimeter square. Then I'm going to find the area of ADHE, this part, and this part is a rectangle, and this is also a rectangle, and the dimensions of both are 70 and 80. So basically I'm going to find area of two rectangles. So that is going to be 2 into the area of rectangle is length into width. So 2 times length is 80 and width is 70. And this is equal to 11,200 centimeter square. So now we have the area of 1, 2 and third. We have the area of 3 bases. Now I'm going to find the area of cross section, that is ABCD and EHGF. So both of these are identical trapeziums. So I'm going to find the area of trapezium and multiply it by 2. That is 2 into area of trapezium is basically half into sum of parallel sides into height. So this is going to be 2 into half into parallel sides are basically 80 and 110. So I'm going to write 80 plus 110, multiply it by the height. Height is basically this line right here. This will be the height. So if I draw the trapezium on the side, it's somewhat like this, where this whole thing, it measures 110. Sorry, this is 110. This line right here, this is 80, and these two sides that are diagonal, they'll be 80, they'll be 70 and 70. So basically I have to find this perpendicular height. Now if this whole thing is 80, then the remaining length that is left is 110 minus 80, which is equal to, this is equal to 30. And when I divide 30 by 2, I'm getting 15. So this is 15 and this part is also 15. If I need to find the height, I'm going to label this the height. If I draw this triangle separately, it's going to be, height is going to be this part. this diagonal part will be 70 and this will be 15. So height will basically be equal to square root 70 square minus 15 square, because I'm using Pythagoras theorem. So h will be equal to 68.37. So my height is 68.37. I'm going to put this in the formula, 68.37. And this will be equal to 2 and 2 will cancel out, and if I put the remaining thing into the calculator, I'm going to be getting 12,990, and this can be simplified to 13,000. Then calculate the total surface area. To find the total surface area, I'm just going to add all the areas together. So I'm going to add 6,400, 11,200 and 13,000. So my final answer for total surface area will be 6,400 plus 11,200 plus, I'm just going to take 12,990 for now, 30590 centimeters squared. This will be my final answer. So first I found the area of the base, that was a square. Then I found area of a rectangle, and this was basically these two parts right here. Both of these were same triangles. Then I found area of trapezium, that was this cross section and this cross section. So basically both of them were similar trapeziums. So I found the area of one and multiplied it by 2. And the height for the trapezium was found by using Pythagoras theorem. And in the end, I just added all the surface areas together to find the total surface area. Anya buys 4 shirts and 3 hats. She pays $100 and receives $21.50 in change. Each shirt costs the same amount. Each hat costs $13.50. Work out the cost of one shirt. So basically, she's paying $100 and she's receiving $21.50 in change. So the amount of money that she pays, meaning the cost of 4 shirts and 3 hats. Cost of 4 shirts and 3 hats that she buys will be equal to 100 minus her change, that is 21.50, and this will be equal to 78.50. So this is the amount of money that she pays in order to buy 4 shirts and 3 hats. Now the question is telling us that each hat costs 13.50 and she's buying 3 hats. So if one hat it costs $13.50, then 3 hats will cost 3 multiplied by 13.50, which is equal to $40.5. So this is the total amount for the hats that she's buying. Now the question is telling us to work out the cost of one shirt, and each shirt is of the same price. So basically I'm going to take the total cost. If I consider the total cost, that is going to be 4 shirts plus 3 hats. I already have the total amount of money and I have the cost of 3 hats. So total minus cost of 3 hats is equal to cost of 4 shirts. So the total amount of money that I calculated was 78.50 minus the cost of 3 hats was 40.5, and that is equal to 4 shirts. This will be equal to 38 divided by 4 is equal to 1 shirt. So 38 divided by 4 is basically $9.5. So one shirt it costs $9.5. That is going to be my final answer. Question 4 part B, the exchange rate between dollars and euros is $1 is equal to 0.91 euros. Anya buys a camera for $150. So first I'm going to find her price in euros. If $1 is equal to 0.91 euros, then $150 is going to be X, x is equal to 150 multiplied by 0.91, and this is equal to 136.5 euros. So for the camera, she pays 136.5 euros. Now the question is telling us that she sees the same camera for a sale online for 140 euros. Calculate the difference between the price in dollars and the price in euros. So if she sees it online for 140 euros during the sale, the difference in euros will be, this will be equal to 140 minus 136.5, and this is equal to 3.5 euros. So the difference in euros is basically 3.5. Now the question is also asking me to calculate the difference in dollars. So I'm just going to convert 140 euros into dollars using the exchange rate. The exchange rate was $1 is equal to 0.91 euros. So if $1 is equal to 0.91 euros, then 140 euros will be equal to how many? 140 is equal to x. X will be equal to 140 divided by 0.91, and this is equal to 153.85. And now I have to find the difference in price in dollars. So basically she bought the camera for $150. So I'm going to subtract $150 by 153.85. So difference in dollars is equal to 150 minus 153.85, and this is equal to $3.85. So that is going to be my final answer. 3.85. So this was the difference in euros, and this was the difference in dollars. Part C, Anya invests $600 in a savings account. The account pays compound interest at a rate of R% per year. At the end of 3 years, the total interest is 21.86. Calculate the value of R. Now, because the question is mentioning compound interest, I'm going to use the formula for compound interest, that is A is equal to P bracket 1 plus R whole power T. A is basically equal to, A is total amount, that will be equal to principal amount plus the interest. Principal amount in the question is basically 600. This is the principal amount because that's the amount that she's going to invest. So 600 plus interest. Interest is given in the question, that is 21.86. So 600 plus 21.86 will be $621.86. Now A is basically 621.86. Principal amount is $600, and R is R divided by 100. R percent can also be written as R divided by 100, and the time period is 3 years. So when I put all the values in the formula, this will be 621.86 is equal to 600 bracket 1 plus R over 100 whole power 3. So when I'm going to simplify this, it is going to be equal to 621.86 divided by 600 is basically 1.036, that is equal to 1 plus R over 100 whole power cube. And in order to remove this cube, I'm going to take cube root on both sides. Now basically this cube root will cancel out with this cube. So I'm going to be getting cube root of 1.036 is equal to 1 plus R over 100. And this can be simplified to cube root of 1.036 minus 1 is equal to R over 100. Answer will be 0.0118 is equal to R over 100. When I bring 100 to the other side, it will multiply, and the answer for R will be 1.18. So the value of R was asked in the question, that is 1.18%. This is going to be my final answer. Question 5. Mandeep has 9 number cards. She takes one of the 9 cards at random, notes the number and replaces it. Find the probability that the card shows an odd number. So basically odd numbers, they are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. Now these cards, they're showing 1, 5 and 7. All of these are odd numbers. So basically the cards that can show odd number are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the probability will be 4 divided by 9. Basically, I use the formula frequency of odd numbers, meaning the number of cards showing odd numbers divided by the total cards, that are 9. In part B, Mandeep takes one of the 9 cards at random, notes the number and replaces it. She then takes a second card at random, find the probability that both cards show the number 1. So the probability of her finding 1 during the first time, when she picks the card for the first time, 1 can basically appear 2 times. So the frequency of 1 is 2. So this will be 2 divided by total, that is 9. And for the second time, basically when she picks up the card for the first time and she reads it, she then replaces it, which means that the total number of cards will remain constant. That means 9, and 1 will also appear 2 times. So this will also be 2 over 9. So the probability of both cards showing number 1 will be 2 over 9 times 2 over 9, and that is equal to 4 over 81. And this will be our final answer. Part C, Mandeep takes 2 of the 9 cards at random without replacement. She calculates the product of the two numbers shown. Find the probability that the product is less than 5. So basically, when I'm going to look at the cards, I can see that if I pick 1 and multiply them together, that will give me 1. Then if I take 2 and 1, that will give me 2. And 2 and 2 will also give me 4. 2 and 2 will also give me 4. So basically, I have to choose two numbers whose product is less than 5, meaning the product should be less than 5. 5 is not included. So I only have these 5 numbers as my options. So my options are 1, 1, 2, 2 and 2. Then the first time that she picks the card, that will be these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the probability is going to be 5 divided by total number of cards. The total number of cards were 9. So this is the first time. Now for the second time, basically the question is telling us that she picks the second one without replacement, which means that the first card that she had picked, she did not put it back into the stack. So this means that there is one less card. The total, it reduces by 1, and the options will also reduce by 1. That means if the options are reducing by 1, it will be 4, and if the total number of cards are reducing by 1, it will be 8. Now the final probability will basically be 5 over 9 multiplied by 4 over 8, and this is basically 20 over 72. So my final answer will be 20 divided by 72. Question 6a. Complete the table for y is equals to x over 4, bracket 2x square minus x minus 10. So basically all the values are given. We only have to find the value of y where x is minus 3. So I'm going to take this equation, y is equal to, and I'm going to substitute the value of x, which is negative 3. 2 multiplied by negative 3 square is basically 9 minus 3 minus 10. And this will give me the value negative 8.25. Now in part B, it is telling me to draw the graph for all values between negative 3 and 3. So I'm going to plot all the values in this table onto the graph below. So the first point is, first I'm going to check the graph. One small box on the y-axis, it is basically standing for 2, and one small box on the x-axis is for 1. So my first value is negative 3 and minus 8.25. Negative 3 and minus 8.25. 8.25 will be right over here. Then the second value is negative 2 and 0. Negative 1 and 1.75. 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.75 will be somewhere here. Then the next value is 0, 0, that is at origin. And after that we have 1 and 2.25. 1 and negative 2.25. 2.2. Then 2 and negative 2, which is going to be right over here. And the last value is 3 and 3.75. So 3 and 3.2, 3.4, 3.6, 3.75 is going to be here. Then I'm going to connect all the dots. The graph is going to be somewhat like this. In part C, the equation x over 4 bracket 2x square minus x minus 10 is equal to k has exactly two solutions. Use your graph to find the possible values of k. Now, the graph that we plotted was for this equation. I'm going to copy this down below. Y is equal to x over 4 2x square minus x minus 10. And this equation, I'm going to copy it below too to compare. K is equal to x over 4 2x square minus x minus 10. Now basically this whole part is common or same in both equations. So technically y will be equal to k. Now if I analyze the solutions using the graph, basically I'm going to check the extreme values of the curves. So one curve is right here and the other curve is here. The extreme values are this value right here. This is basically 1.75, and the other extreme value is right here, and this value is negative 2.25. So these are the two solutions. The first solution is basically 1.75 and the other is negative 2.25. Part D, by drawing a suitable line in the grid, find the solution of 2x cubed minus x minus 10x is equal to 2x minus 4. Now if I look at the original equation, I'm going to copy this down below. That is y is equal to x over 4 bracket 2x square minus x minus 10. If I expand the bracket, I'm going to be getting y is equal to 2x cubed minus x square minus 10x. And if I bring this 4 on the other side, it's going to be 4y. So basically this part 2x cubed minus x square minus 10x is the same as this part right here. So I'm going to copy down the equation. 2x minus 4 is equal to 2x cubed minus x square minus 10x. So this entire part is common. So technically 4y will be equal to 2x minus 4. If I equate 4y is equal to 2x minus 4, and if I make y the subject, y is equal to 2x minus 4 divided by 4. Now I'm going to find some of the points so that I can draw a line for this particular equation, and I'm going to take x equal to 0. So y is going to be negative 1. If I take y 0, then x will be equal to 2. And now just taking these 2 points that are 0 comma minus 1 and 2 comma 0, I'm going to be drawing a straight line. 0 and negative 1 will be right here, and 2 comma 0 will be right here. I'm going to draw a straight line that are passing through these points. So I've drawn this straight line, and now we have to find the solutions of the line. So I basically have to find the 2 points or 3 points. 3 points where the straight line is intersecting the graph. So I'm going to find the point where the black line is intersecting the blue curve. So these points will be, the first point is right here, and this point is basically, I have to find the value of x. So the value of x that is corresponding is this value, which is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.45, negative 2.45. Then the second point of intersection is basically this point, and the x value is this, which is 0.1, 0.2, 0.25, and the third value is this, which is 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. So the three values of x will be negative 2.45, the second value is 0.25, and the third value is 2.7. So this is going to be my final answer. Question 7a, solve 4x plus 7 is equal to 16. So 4x plus 7 is equal to 16. This plus 7, when I shift it to the other side, it will become minus 7. So 4x is equal to 16 minus 7. 16 minus 7 is basically 9. And this 4 is being multiplied. So when I shift it on the other side, it will be divide. So x is equal to 9 over 4. I'll leave it as it is. So the value of x is 9 over 4. Part B, solve. I'm first going to open the bracket by multiplying 5 with all the terms inside. So 5 into 4 is 20. And 5 into y is minus 5y. This will be equal to 30. Now if I make 5y the subject, 20, this 30 on the other side will be negative. So 20 minus 30 is equal to, when I shift positive 5y on the other side, it will be negative 5y, sorry. This is negative 5y, on the other side it will be positive. 20 minus 30 is negative 10, because we always write the sign of the bigger number is 30. 5 is being multiplied by y, so when I shift it on the other side, it will be divided. Negative 10 divided by 5 is equal to y, and y is equal to negative 2. Part C, write down all the integers that satisfy this inequality. So integers are basically whole numbers. Whole numbers mean non-decimal numbers. If I illustrate this inequality on the number line, it's going to be negative 3 over 2 is basically negative 1.5, and that is going to lie right here. Now the inequality states that x is greater or equal to negative 1.5. So I'm going to draw a dot right here, and it's stating that it is less than 3. So it's going to go all the way till 3, and I'm going to stop at 3. So the inequality is basically satisfying all the numbers where the red and black region are overlapping. I'm not going to include 3, because it's stating that x is less than 3. There is no equal to sign, which means that we won't be considering 3. So all the values satisfied are minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. And that is going to be my final answer. Part D, rearrange the formula y is equal to 4y minus x divided by 3x to make x the subject. So I'm going to basically be isolating x. First, this 3x will be shifted on the other side. It will multiply with y. So it will be 3xy is equal to 4y minus x. Then I'm going to shift x to the other side. 3xy, this negative x on the other side will be positive. So positive x is equal to 4y. Now I'm going to take x common. X bracket 3y plus 1 is equal to 4y. And because I have to isolate x completely, I'm going to be shifting this 3y plus 1 on the other side. Here it's multiplying, so on the other side it'll divide. X is equal to 4y divided by 3y plus 1, and this is my final answer. In part E, simplify. An equation is given to us. Basically, if I look at the upper portion, first I'm going to take 3 common. When I take 3 common, I'll be getting 4x square minus y square. Now, and I'll basically copy down the remaining parts. Now, if I look at only this upper region, specifically this bracket right here, I can basically factorize this using the identity a plus b, a minus b. A minus b whole square is equal to a plus b bracket a minus b. So if I simplify this, I'll be getting 3 bracket, basically 4 is a perfect square of 2. So I can write 2x whole square minus y square, and this can be converted into 3 bracket 2x minus y bracket 2x plus y, because I have applied this identity right here. Now I'm going to simplify this. 3 2x minus y 2x plus y, and the denominator is basically 2x square plus 8x minus xy minus 4y. In the denominator, I'll basically simplify by taking common. So first I'm going to copy the numerator as it is. And then in the denominator, I can take 2x common. So 2x bracket x plus 2 into 4 is 8. So 4 minus common, and then I'm going to take y. So it becomes x plus 4. When I simplify this, it's going to be divided by 2x minus y, and the other bracket is x plus 4. I'm going to write x plus 4 only once because it is common. Now if I look at it clearly, I can simplify by cancelling out this, and the final answer will be 3 bracket 2x plus y divided by x plus 4. This is going to be my final answer. Question 8. ADB and AEC are straight lines. ADB and AEC, both of these are straight lines. BC is parallel to DE. BC is 9.8 centimeter, BD is 2.7, DE is 5.6, and CE is 3.9. Part A, complete the missing angles and reasons to show that triangle ABC, which is this large triangle, is similar to triangle ADE, this small triangle. So in triangle ABC and triangle ADE, angle BAC is equal to angle. So if angle BAC, that is this angle right here, so in the other small triangle DAE, basically triangle BAC will be equal to DAE. Because they are common angles, then the second line is angle ABC. ABC, that means this angle right here is equal to angle, so that is going to be ADE, that is this triangle right, this angle right here. So I'm going to write angle ADE, and I'm going to write the reason, because they are corresponding angles. Because as we can see, A, B and C, all three A, B and C, they're correlating with A, D and E. Then in the third line, angle ACB, that is angle ACB, which is this angle right here. This will basically correspond to this angle right here, which is angle AED. So in the third line, I'm going to write AED. And this is also because of corresponding angles. So now we've proven that angle ABC, triangle ABC and triangle ADE are similar by angle, 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 because three of the angles are similar. In part B, show that AD is equal to 3.6 and AE is 5.2. So basically, when triangles are similar, when we say that they're similar to each other, we can form ratios. So if we're going to form ratios, it's going to be, first I'm going to write that triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE. Now the ratios for corresponding lengths is going to be AB over AD. The second length would be BC and DE. So BC over DE. And the third length would be AC and AE. So this should be equal to AC over AE. Now when I look at the information in the question, I have BC. BC is 9.8 centimeters. So BC is equal to 9.8 and BD is 2.7 and DE is 5.6 and lastly CE is 3.9 centimeters. So now I'm gonna put I can put BC and so first of all I'm gonna substitute BC, that is 9.8. DE can also be substituted, that is 5.6, and AB is unknown and AD is also unknown. Then if we're talking about AC, AC is also unknown and AE is also unknown. Now if I look at the triangle carefully, I can say that AC is basically equal to 3.9 and AE. So I can write that AC is equal to 3.9 plus AE, and similarly on the other side I can say that AB is equal to 2.7 plus AD. So AB can be substituted by 2.7 plus AD over AD is equal to 9.8 over 5.6. Now first I'm going to solve this equation to find the value of AD. So I'm going to write 5.6 multiplied by 2.7 plus AD and 9.8 AD. When I simplify this, I'm going to be getting AD is equal to 3.6 centimeters. I've proven the value of AD to be 3.6 that was given in the question. Now I'm going to find AE. In order to find AE, I'm going to be using this equation right here. So this is basically 9.8 over 5.6 is equal to AC. AC can be substituted by this equation. So that is 3.9 plus AE divided by AE. Now if I simplify this, I'm going to be getting AE is equal to 9. This is basically 5.6 multiplied by 3.9 plus AE divided by 9.8. 0.57 bracket 3.9 plus AE, and when I simplify this, I'm going to be getting AE minus 0.57 AE is equal to 2.22, and so AE will be equal to 5.18, which is approximately equal to 5.2 centimeters, and this is what I had to prove in the question. I had to prove that AE is equal to 5.2, and this is what I'm getting as my answer. Part C, calculate angle DAE. Now angle DAE is basically this angle right here. We found AD. AD was basically 3.6 centimeters. And we also found AE, and AE was 5.2 centimeters. So I'm going to copy this entire triangle down. So if I copy it down, it's going to be triangle DAE, and this side DE was 5.6, AE was 5.2, and the AD was 3.6, and we have to find this angle, which is angle A. So I'm going to be using cos rule. If I talk about cos rule, the general form is basically if this is a triangle A, B, C, this is going to be length A, this is length B, and this is length C. So cos rule will basically be A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC multiplied by cos of this angle, which is angle A. So this is my general form for cos rule. I'm going to apply this general form on this triangle right here, and it's going to be 5.6 square is equal to 3.6 square plus 5.2 square minus 2 into 3.6 into 5.2 into cos of angle A. So when I simplify this, it's going to be 5.6 square minus 3.6 square minus 5.2 squared is equal to minus 2 3.6 into 5.2 into cos A. When I'm going to bring this whole thing that is being multiplied here to the other side, it's going to be divided. So 5.6 square minus 3.6 square minus 5.2 squared divided by negative 2 multiplied by 3.6 into 5.2, which is equal to cos A. When I put this entire thing in the calculator, I'm going to be getting 3 divided by 13 is equal to cos A. When I'm going to shift this cos on the other side, it's going to be cos inverse. So cos inverse 3 divided by 13 will be equal to angle A, and this is angle A will be equal to 76.65, which can also be written as 76.7 degrees. So that is going to be my final answer. In part D, calculate the area of triangle ABC. So basically I have to calculate the area of this entire triangle. If I draw it on the other side, if A, B and C, so AB, this entire length AB is basically 3.6 plus 2.7. So 3.6 plus 2.7, this is going to be equal to 6.3. Then this length, that is AC will basically be equal to 5.2 plus 3.9, and that is equal to 9.1. So I'm going to write 9.1 right here, and BC is already given to us, that is equal to 9.8. I'm going to shift this triangle down to where my question is. Now I basically have to find the area of triangle ABC. Area, the formula is half into base into height. So either I can use this formula, or I can also use another formula, that is area is equal to half into AB into sine of the inclusive angle. Sine of inclusive angle is basically angle A. So the sides AB here will be, A is 6.3 and B is 9.1, and the inclusive angle is A, and in the previous part we found angle A to be 76.7. So this is 76.7. So when I'm going to put all the values in the formula, I am going to be getting area is equal to half AB. A is 6.3, B is 9.1, and sine of the inclusive angle, that is 76.7. And my final answer will be 27.89, which is approximately equal to 27.9 centimeter squared. So I'm going to write this down, 27.9. Question 9a. A, B, C, and D are points on a circle center O. A, O, D, and OCE are straight lines. DE is a tangent to the circle at D. So basically this means that if this line DE is tangent to the circle at D, it means that it will form a 90 degree at D. So this angle will be 90 degree. Angle ABC is given and DE, its length, is given. Calculate the radius of the circle. Radius is basically OD and OC. So first, I can see that A, B, C, and D. This whole diagram, this is a cyclic quadrilateral because all the vertices are touching the circle. A is touching the circle, B, C, and D. So I'm going to write this down. The property for cyclic quadrilateral is that the sum of opposite angles will be equal to 180 degree. Is equal to 180 degree. So when I look at this at the diagram, angle B is 126. The opposite angle to angle B is basically this angle right here. So sum of opposite angles, that means angle B plus angle D, this should be equal to 180 degree. So in order to find angle D, which can also be written as ODC, angle B is 126. 126 plus ODC is equal to 180 degree. So angle ODC will be equal to 180 minus 126, that is equal to 54. Now when I'm going to analyze the diagram, I can see that this is OD is the radius and OC is the radius, which means that both of these lengths are equal. If both of these lengths are equal, that means triangle OCD is an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to write that down. Triangle OCD is isosceles. This means that when two sides are equal, two angles will also be equal. So I found that angle ODC is 54. So this angle will also be 54. So ultimately this angle, that is DOC will be 180 minus 54 minus 54, and this is equal to 72. So this angle right here, that is angle O, is 72 degrees. Now I'm going to copy this triangle down so that I can analyze it clearly. If I draw it, it's going to be somewhat like this, where this edge is O, this is D, and this is C. And because the question stated that DE is tangent to the circle at D, that means this will be 90 degrees, and this is basically the radius, and OC is not given to us. DE is given to us, that is 10.5. So I'm going to write that down, 10.5 centimeters, and angle DOC is 72 degrees. Now this side is opposite to angle O, and this side is adjacent to O. So I'm going to be using trigonometric ratio tan to solve this. Tan 72 is equal to opposite, that is 10.5, divided by adjacent, that is R. And R will be 10.5 divided by tan 72. When I'm going to put this in the calculator, radius will be equal to 3.41 centimeters. So this is my radius, 3.41. 3.41 centimeters is my radius. Part B, P and Q are points on a different circle center O. The angle of the minor sector POQ is 82 degrees. The length of the minor arc is 7.3. So basically this region is 7.3. Calculate the area of the major sector. This is the minor sector and the major sector is basically this large region. So we have to find the area of this large sector. So first of all, I'm going to find the radius. OP and OQ are the radius. So formula for arc length is basically arc length is equal to theta over 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. Now the arc length is given to us because the minor arc is 7.3. So I'm going to use 7.3 is equal to theta for the minor arc is 82. 82 divided by 360 multiplied by 2 pi r. So the radius will be equal to 7.3 into 360 divided by 82 multiplied by 2 pi. So the radius will be 5.1 centimeters. Now the radius is 5.1. For the major arc, I am first going to calculate the major angle, this major angle. So the total angle is 360 degree. And the angle for the small arc is basically 82 degree. So for theta of major arc, I'm going to subtract 82 from 360 degree, and this will be equal to 278. So basically this large angle is 278. Now I have the radius that is 5.1. I have the angle for the major circle that is 278. I'm going to put this in the formula for area of the major sector. Area of a sector is equal to theta over 360 multiplied by pi r square. And because we have to find the area of the major sector, we are taking the major angle that is 278 and the radius is 5.1. So 5.1 whole square. And when I'm going to put this in the calculator, I'm getting the answer 63.1. So my final answer will be 63.1 centimeters squared. Question 10. The cost of apples is X cents per kilogram. This means that 1 kilogram it costs X cents. Minna spends $9 on apples. If I convert $9 into cents, $1 is basically equal to 100 cents. So $9 is going to be X cents. So X is equal to 9 into 100, that is 900 cents. Now the question is asking us to find an expression for the mass of apples that Minna receives when she's paying 900 cents. So I'm going to solve this by ratios. If 1 kilogram costs X cents, then Minna is paying 900 cents. And the mass, I'm going to write mass right here. Now we have to find the expression for mass. So I'm going to make this the subject. Mass is basically equal to 900 divided by X. And this will be our final expression. Part B, the cost of pears is 40 cents per kilogram more than the cost of apples. So cost of apples, I'm going to write that as X. Then the cost of pears is 40 cents per kilogram more. So 1 kg of pears, it costs 40 cents more than apples. So this is going to be 40 plus X. The mass of pears Minna receives is 0.75 kg less than the mass of apples. So the mass of apples that she is receiving is basically, we found that in part 1, and that was 900 divided by X. So this is going to be 900 over X. And the mass of pears that she receives, this is going to be equal to 900 divided by the cost of 1 kg of pears, that is 40 plus X. So 900 over 40 plus X. The question is telling us that the mass of pears she receives is 0.75 less than the mass of apples. So I'm going to subtract both of these equations, and their difference is going to be equal to 0.75. So 900 over x minus 900 over 40 plus x will be equal to 0.75. Now I'm going to solve this equation. The LCM will basically be x, and 40 plus x is equal to 0.75, and this is going to be 900 multiplied by 40 plus x minus 900x. Now I'm going to take this to the other side. 900 into 40 plus x minus 900x is equal to 0.75 multiplied by 40x plus x square, because I basically multiplied x with all the terms inside. This is going to be 36,000 plus 900x minus 900x is equal to 30x plus 0.75x square. Now 900x and 900x will cancel out because it is plus and minus. So my equation will be 0.75x square plus 30x, and then I'm going to shift 36,000 to the other side. It will become negative. So negative 36,000 is equal to 0. Now if I divide all the terms by 0.75, the final equation I'm going to be getting is x squared plus 40x minus 48,000 is equal to 0, and this is what I had to show in the question. Now in part C, solve the equation x squared plus 40x minus 48,000 is equals to 0. Show your working. Now here I'm going to be using the quadratic equation, that is x is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now here in the according to the equation, a is basically coefficient of x squared, that is equal to 1, b is coefficient of x, that is 40, and c is the constant, that is negative 48,000. So I'm going to be putting these values in the equation. X is equal to negative 40 plus minus b square, that is 40 square, minus 4, a is 1 and c is negative 48,000, and this should be divided by 2a, and a is 1, so 2 into 1 will be 2. When I'm going to simplify this under root, I am getting 440, so I can write this as x is equal to minus 40 plus minus 440 divided by 2. Now this can be written in two ways. X is equal to minus 40 plus 440 divided by 2, or it can be written as x is equal to minus 40 minus 440 divided by 2. Answer here will be 200, and the other answer will be negative 240. So these are my two answers, 200 and negative 240. Part D. Narendra buys 1.5 kg of apples and 0.8 kg of pears. Work out the total amount he pays in dollars. So basically, 1 kg of apples, this was denoted by x, and x we calculated was, we're going to reject this answer because value can price can never be a negative. We'll take this value, that is a positive value, so x will be equal to 200 cents. So this is the cost of 1 kg of apples, and 1 kg of pears, this was basically, according to the equation that we found out, 1 kg of pears, it costs 40 plus x. So I'm going to write 40 plus x. 40 plus 200 is equal to 240 cents. Now he is basically buying 1.5 kilograms of apples. So if 1 kg of apples costs 200, 1.5 kg is going to cost 1.5 multiplied by 200. And if 1 kg of pears costs 240 cents, 0.8 kg is going to cost 0.8 multiplied by 240. So this is going to be equal to 300 cents and 192 cents. So this is basically for 1.5 kg of apples, and this is for 0.8 kilogram of pears. Now work out the total amount he pays in dollars. First I'm going to find the total amount in cents. So total amount is basically equal to 300 plus 192, and this is equal to 492 cents. Now in order to convert cents to dollars, $1 is basically equal to 100 cents. So 492 cents are going to be equal to X dollars. So in order to find X, I'm going to cross multiply 100X is equal to 492. X is equal to 492 divided by 100. And so X is equal to $4.92. And this is the total amount that he pays in dollars. So my final answer will be 4.92.